Good day. Thank you for joining us for today's news. If you find this helpful, please consider subscribing. We're here every day with calm, clear updates just for you.
At the National Party's annual conference in Christchurch, leader Christopher Luxon told party members that the country is turning the corner despite ongoing economic challenges. The event also marks the retirement of longtime party stalwart Peter Goodfellow, who has served on the board for over a decade. Luxon acknowledged the difficult times, but expressed confidence in the government's long-term economic plan, emphasizing the need to continue working towards a better future. Deputy Leader Nicola Willis echoed this message, focusing on the government's efforts to improve the business environment and create jobs, showing the party in the low 30s. Despite these challenges, the conference aims to reinforce the party's commitment to addressing the cost of living crisis and restoring public confidence.
New Zealand is facing a 15% tariff on exports to the US, a rate higher than Australia's 10%. While this has raised concerns, economists are offering a more balanced view. Brad Olson from Infometrics points out that the gap between New Zealand to compete in key export sectors like wine and beef. However, he also notes that other regions, such as Europe, have faced similar or higher tariffs. Olson cautions that negotiating a lower rate might have come with significant costs, like allowing more MENZ, says the impact might not be as bad as feared. Kelly Ek Ho from Westpac questions the U.S.'s approach to trade imbalances, pointing out that the U.S. focuses on goods trade while ignoring the significant social trade. With New Zealand, the key for New Zealand now is to adapt and explore new markets to offset the test.
In a dramatic shift within the New Zealand Police, former Deputy Commissioner Jevon McSkimming has stepped down after allegations of inappropriate content on his work devices. His resignation, along with the retirement of Tanya Kura, has left a leadership vacuum, creating new opportunities for others within the force. Police Commissioner Richard Chambers recently restructured the top hierarchy, cutting 19 roles and streamlining operations. While this move aimed to reduce bureaucracy, it also limited the number of available positions. Now, with 2 key vacancies, the spotlight is on candidates like Jill Rogers and Mike Pannett, who have been closely aligned with Chamelight. However, the selection process will be rigorous, ensuring that the new leaders are not only capable but also fit and proper, according to the Public Service Commission. As the police force navigates this transition, the choices made now will have a lasting impact on the organization's direction and effectiveness.
New Zealand is in for a chilly start to the week as widespread frosts and below-zero temperatures sweep across the country. Met Service has confirmed that this is a typical pattern for this time of year, but the intensity of the cold has surprised many parts of the South Island, including Christchurch and Queenstown. Even in the North Island areas like Auckland and Wellington are experiencing overnight temperatures below 5 degrees Celsius. Met Service forecaster Katie Hillier says that while frosts are commoners in places like Waikato and the Bay of Plenty are making the mornings feel particularly harsh, the high-pressure system moving in is expected to bring some sunny spells. But residents are being advised to be prepared for the cold, with the weekend forecast to be calm and settled. The focus is on managing the cold mornings and enjoying the Acadia or the countryside. It's a good idea to take precautions and keep warm.
Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown is preparing for a tough re-election battle with a focus on unseating councillors who have opposed his policies. The race for the mayoralty includes a diverse field of candidates, and the outcome could significantly shape the future of Auckland.
A new policy set to take effect in New Zealand could have unexpected consequences for small businesses. In Hawke's Bay, the government has announced a ban on card surcharges by May 2026. Like PayWave, more convenient for customers. While consumer groups have welcomed the move, some local retailers are worried about the 5A. They argue that the surcharge currently helps offset the merchant service fee, which is a cost businesses must cover. Without the surcharge, shop owners may have to raise prices or even stop. Avaras Pomson, a business leader in Napier, says this could lead to a loss of convenience for customer. Some retailers, like Winston Peters of Vinci's Pizza, support the change, believing it simplifies the payment process. Others, like Glenn Shan of Cool Toys, believe the cost of merchant fees will be passed on to customers. As the deadline approaches, Luftfinis Oreder Reise Tassen. The challenge now is whether the government and banks can find a solution that supports both consumers and businesses.
In a move that has raised global concerns, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of 2 nuclear submarines in response to what he called highly provocative remarks from former Russian President. Dmitriy's social platform highlights the tension between the two nations as Medvedev criticized Trump's comments on Russia. Medvedev also took issue with Trump's threat of new sanctions against Russia over its invasion of Ukraine, accusing him of playing the ultimatum game. Trump's decision to position nuclear submarines, though vague in details, has underscored the delicate balance of power between the U.S. and Russia, with both nations holding the majority of the world's nuclear. As the world watches, the situation serves as a reminder of the risks of rhetoric and the need for careful diplomacy in an era of nuclear brinkmanship.
In a heart-wrenching journey spanning nearly 5 years, the parents of Eloy Rowland have returned to New Zealand, determined to find their missing son. Eloy, an 8-year-old from France, arrived in the country in 2019 to learn English. His life in New Zealand, however, became increasingly difficult. On March 7, 2020, he disappeared without a trace, with his last known location being Piha Beach in West Auckland, despite expate in Piwe. The couple's desperate search continues, driven by the hope that their son is still alive. Detective Inspector Callum McNeil has speculated that Eloy may have taken a shortcut. As the Rowlands continue their search, their determination remains unshaken, reflecting a deep and enduring hope that Eloy may one day be found.
In Katia, a long-awaited water project meant to secure the town's future during droughts has ended up costing millions more than expected, and taking over a decade to complete. A recent review has pointed to a lack of planning as a key reason for the project's delays and budget blowout. ESO launched in 2011, the Aquifer project was supposed to provide a reliable water source for the town, but it wasn't until early 2025 that the first water from the aquifer began flowing through the taps. The total cost now stands at nearly $18 million, with the majority of the funds spent on boring Twin Tour. The report highlights that the absence of a comprehensive project plan, along with poor coordination and a failure to engage early with local communities, contributed to the delays and rising costs. Councillor Mate Radic has called for greater transparency and better planning in future infrastructure to avoid similar issues. While the project has now provided Katia with a more reliable water source, the experience serves as a cautionary tale for local councils and government agencies, underscoring the importance of thorough planning and community engagement in large-scale infrastructure.
In a thrilling conclusion to their 3-2 series, the British and Irish Lions are aiming for a historic unbeaten record, a feat not achieved since 1974. The Wallabies, on the other hand, are fighting to restore their pride after losing the first 2 matches. Coach Andy Farrell has emphasized the importance of finishing the series with the same determination and unity that defined their tour from the beginning. For the Wallabies, the final match in Sydney is a chance to prove they can compete at the highest level, even after a heartbreaking loss to the Lions in Melbourne. Australia's team has made last-minute changes due to injuries, calling up experienced player Brandon Penga Amosa to bolster their front row. Despite the setbacks, Wallabies captain Harry Wilson remains confident in his team's ability to bounce back and show resilience. The Lions are chasing history, while the Wallabies are determined to make their mark. This final encounter promises to be a dramatic and emotionally charged showdown, with the outcome shaping the legacy of this tour for both sides.
That's all for today's news. We appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this update, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep going.